In March of this year, we launched Cool Escapes, a summer campaign positioning Dominica as the ultimate destination for nature lovers and adventure seekers. This initiative captures travelers from North America, the United Kingdom, the French West Indies, France, and the Commonwealth of course, the Commonwealth. And of course, this is the Cool Escapes. And by the way, what other cool way to escape than to come to Dominica for the Jazz and Creole experience? Good morning to each and every one of you tuned in to Talking Tourism right now. My name is Monel Alexis. Today I'm your host. And as every Wednesday, it's my pleasure to be here with you. So for Cool Escapes in Dominica, we're inviting people to dive into colorful marine ecosystems, to snorkel, go whale watching, river tubing, kayaking, explore waterfalls, and also surround themselves in all things Dominica, the nature island, the things that you love, I love, we love the most. This is Cool Escapes. And today we're talking tourism, we're talking Dominica's Jazz and Creole Festival. In studio with me, we have three persons. One is here so far, and we're going to go into studio 2 so he can introduce himself, and then we can talk to you on jazz and art in paradise, because hey, guess what, on May 3rd we're heading to Bourne in Portsmouth for that amazing experience. Hi, good morning to you. How are you? Welcome to Talking Tourism.
Good morning, Manel. Thanks for having me.
You're most welcome. And by the way, for persons who are not familiar with the voice or the face, do tell, what's your name?
My name is Michael Lees. I'm the president of the White Kubali Artists Association, probably best known for the documentary Uncivilized.
Yes, Uncivilized. So let's talk about that documentary quickly. So there's this guy who spent maybe the hurricane in the bush. Is that you?
That's me.
How was that?
Psychedelic.
Psychedelic. Are you planning on doing it again?
No, once is sufficient.
Once is sufficient. Well, thank you very much for being here with me. I'm assuming you had a great start to your day.
Yes, I did. Always.
Okay, great. Now let's talk. May 3rd, what's going on with the White Kubali Artists Association?
So the White Kubali Artists Association, also known as WA, is partnering with Ministry of Tourism for Jazz and Arts in Bourne at Paradise Valley. And so we'll be there in a number of capacities. Of course, we'll have art for sale for patrons, but we'll also have some interesting activities. So there'll be jewelry making, there'll be a tattoo bar, there'll be live painting, and then we'll also have our, sorry, there's a little echo delay. We'll also have our, some of our performers, musical performers, Mosh Black and Avatar Omish, as well as some of our circus arts performers. So really covering the bases in the various different arts, and there'll be something for everyone, for sure.
All right, so that sounds very exciting. So May 3rd, we're going to support the White Kubali Artists Association for all the exciting things that they will be doing at the Jazz and Arts Festival. You mentioned briefly the artists who are performing. Can you go into more detail? Who exactly are the artists? What are their names? What exactly can we expect at that event from your association?
Yeah, so in terms of the musical artists, it's Mosh Black and Avatar Omish, who both make what I would call indie or alternative music. They write and perform their own they write and perform their own stuff, and will definitely be, I would say, a breath of fresh air. We also have artists like, I'm sure you probably know some of the names, Lowell Royer, who was actually the founder and president of WA for the first 4 years, Sandra Vivas, Janae Bell, also known as Bell Art on Instagram, and then Y2 Cirque. So I'm not sure how many of your listeners know about Y2 Cirque, but a couple of years ago, a circus arts group started up. And I know when people think of circus arts, they usually think of, clowns and juggling, but they do a lot more than that. Everything from aerials to fire breathing. So it'll be great having them on board. And that's, at the moment, I think led by Kate Elwin and Serena Williams.
Wonderful. So let's talk more about the activity and what exactly you're going to be doing. I know that you guys will be selling some art as well. What can we purchase at Jazz and Arts, and what is the cost like?
So I think one of the things we really want to do is make sure that there's something for everyone. So I would imagine that there's going to be pieces from, well, small jewelry pieces and small art pieces, probably anywhere from $30 all the way up to bigger pieces. And we've got artists that make all sorts of different things. So jewelry, cards, postcards, paintings, photographs, you name it, we've got it.
All right, so that sounds very exciting, and I love that the price point is affordable. And getting to jazz and jazz and arts this year is very easy. The cost, in fact, is rather reasonable for the jazz and arts experience this year. Only $20 adults entry fee, and for children, 10 EC dollars will get you to the Jazz and Arts Festival this year. And pretty soon we're going to talk a bit more about the Jazz and Arts experience and what you can get outside of all the offerings from the White Kubuli Artists Association. So we're going to get back to you shortly. Want to say hi to Shelly Alfred. Good morning, Shelly.
Yeah, man. Good morning, Moya. Good morning to all the viewers and the listeners of DBS Radio and of Talking Tourism. Big up to the entire DDA office too. Yeah.
Thank you for the shout out. I know you guys are one of the busiest. You are one of the busiest humans on planet Dominica. Before we get into you and your busy lifestyle and all the amazing things your band has been doing, pray tell, how are you doing? How was your day? How was your day started?
Well, so far so good. Firstly thanking the Almighty for allowing me to see this day. And this is my first engagement for the day, so I'm happy to kick off things, talking tourism. And looking forward to the rest of the day. It's just another day working as usual. Yeah.
I'm happy that you mentioned you're happy to kick off the day and you plugged in Talking Tourism. Your band has been doing a lot to improve our tourism offerings here in Dominica. What has that experience been like for you? How does it feel to be an ambassador for Dominica, you as an artist, a Buyo artist?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to be on the end of the music tourism, going out there and promoting Buyo music, presenting Buyo music on those stages and letting people know that this is 100% Dominican, and one of the best ways to experience that is by coming to Dominica. That's one side of the job. The other side of the job is just making the music and not knowing exactly where it will reach, if all the walls have been broken down. Right now you release a song and you really don't know where it will get to. You release a video or something, and if you realize a lot of the work we do always promote Dominica in some way, and a lot of the time we don't even need to get paid for that because that's where we're from, and our music has resonated Dominican, our blood is Dominican, so our product naturally reflects that. And then the other end of it is, the contribution that we make during Carnival with our events, Fantasy Tribe, Lumination, Luminite. The entire package, is a tourism product in itself. And it's not just a tourism product, but I feel like one of the most convenient ones for the Carnival. And that helps a lot. A lot of people have been wondering about Dominica. When they hear that they can get this package as a one-stop shop, they buy into it immediately because that's one less thing they have to think about. They just have to think about where they're going to live and how they get into and from. Yeah.
You mentioned Carnival, so let's tap into that quickly.
Yeah.
This year we had a 34% increase in visitor arrival for the Carnival experience. Part of that largely due to Buyo music and its influence.
Right.
There's a song you make, They Can Never Make Me Hate My Band. I know you guys did a phenomenal job. I liked the Glow Evening Luminite, great touch.
Thank you.
What was the Carnival experience like for you, leader of the Signal Band, and for your band members?
Well, firstly, and again, what is the most interesting part about the model we have developed is that we are creators, musicians, so we pretty much we take the music from the creative process, we go out there, we perform it, but we also promoters of our own kind. And, as a band leader in Signal Band, but also a co-director of Fantasy Tribe. You know, seeing those two worlds merge during Carnival was so beautiful. You know, seeing that Signal Band, Shelly could make sure that we made a musical contribution, a strong one at that, strong musical contribution to the Carnival, make sure we had some solid songs out there of different styles, different audiences could gravitate towards them, and but to also make sure that we had a seamless production logistically, you know, costumes, Luminite being a new event, we wanted to make sure that we gave a good impression of what could happen on a Carnival Monday night when you get some rest after Juve, you know. And it's just exploring, and that's what we've been about. We've been not trying to just sit there and wait for somebody to make a move for us. We're making those moves for ourselves, and at the end of the day, there's nobody to blame. You know, we're doing our thing.
Your Carnival experience, what was that like? The feedback?
The feedback
Yes.
has been great. The feedback has been great. A lot of people, the interesting thing you said about Booyah Music bringing people to Dominica, I feel like that has been the most rewarding thing. Hearing people saying that the music brought me here, but it didn't stop there. When they got here, they were not disappointed.
Yes. The experience.
Yeah, the experience
You
was
delivered.
great. You know, we delivered, just even the island delivered. You know, I saw one particular patron of ours that we were just checking out the social media, and the amount of things she said about Dominica on a whole. She said straight up, Booyah Music brought her there. She came down, she ranked the music, she ranked the band's artists. She was like, but then she started talking about the fact that she doesn't want to leave. She was like, matter of fact, I'm still here. You know, it was about a week after Carnival. And she was like, I'm still here because there's so much to do. And she talked about the nature and all of that. And that means that everything came together. It wasn't just about the music bringing her there. The experience was great.
Booyah.
The booyah, you know, the people came. She was like, the people
Everything.
were great. The people were great. The site's so beautiful, and that's good. Yeah.
Okay, so that's great. So this year, Jazz and Creole Music Festival. By the way, guys, we do have a stellar lineup of artists performing for this year's Jazz and Creole Festival event on May 4th. We start from 2 p.m. till. On the lineup, we have Swinging Stars, a Signal Band, Colton T, Abia Israel, Mary Pascal, Shalina, Colin XP. Out of Trinidad and Tobago, Etienne Charles. Dominican lives in New York, the sensational Marie-Claire Giraud, and Itana out of Jamaica. These are the artists who will be performing on the main stage for Jazz and Creole this year. In addition to these artists, we do have a wide variety of side acts that you will enjoy. So let's talk, Shelly. You performing for this year's Jazz and Creole Festival. What can we expect?
Well, the first time we got a call for Jazz and Creole about 2 years ago, it was an unexpected one. You know, I don't want to say it's strange, it's unprecedented that Booyah Music or Booyah Band would come to Jazz and Creole. And first of all, it was an honor to be getting that call, to be seen as fit for such an event. And obviously, it was met with mixed reviews or mixed emotions by certain people, the patrons. But I think the first year it worked out really well. And you know what they say about when things happen once and it happens nice. You have to do it twice.
Accurate.
and and you might have to even do it even more times than twice. And getting this second call meant that we did something right the first time. But maybe not even just about the first time. Maybe there's something now about the signal that is 2 years later than the first time we did Jazz and Creole. That means a lot. And I feel like right now we have to live up to that expectations, and the patrons can expect a great performance as usual, from Signal Band, delivering our greatest hits in the time that we allotted.
Hits after hits,
Hits
after
after
hits.
hits after hits.
All right, but just to clear things up, Jazz and Creole Festival is not a jazz event. So that's the misconception that's out there. It's not a jazz festival. We're jazzing up Creole. So it's jazz in Creole. So this is the product that we're delivering.
Yeah.
So this is not an event where you attend and you're expected to hear solely jazz music. That's not that festival.
Yeah. I mean,
We jazz Creole up and
important.
Dominica Creole. What is Dominica Creole? It's bouillon. It's the culture. So that's why you'll see some cultural components. You'll hear about the bouillon music. music and all these different things.
That's everything.
That is correct. It's Creole.
Yeah.
In addition to that, you'll find artists throughout the region who do not perform jazz music, but it's their sort of Creole music, their
Right.
culture
Their Creole,
converging on our stage.
Right.
So this is Dominica's Jazz and Creole experience.
I hope all the patrons can hear that and understand that.
Yes. So even if you don't see everything all jazzed up,
Yeah.
it's a jazz in Creole. So we're just jazzing up Creole.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So we keep it jazzy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk a bit about your band shortly, but somebody came in. Remember, guys, we're talking on two things, or rather three things this morning. Two things. We're touching on Jazz and Creole Festival happening on May 4th, and we're also touching on the event Jazz in Paradise. Jazz in Paradise happens on the 3rd of May. This is one that you do not want to miss. I attended that event last year. Beautiful space, beautiful event. I need to get some pig this year. You know, Miss Paul, good morning to you. How are you doing? Welcome to the studios of DBS.
Good morning, Miss Alexis, Monel, and the listening public, as well as my companions here,
Morning.
Alfred and Michael. Good morning. It's a very great day.
Definitely. And it's a great day to be in Dominica and to talk about jazz. You know, let's jazz things up today. Keeping it jazzy. And keeping it jazzy, how is your morning going? Did you have a great start to your day?
A busy start as usual. A busy start running around, but that's normal for me.
All right, but I'm happy that you could have joined us here for Talking Tourism this morning. Now, pray tell, let's talk jazz. Jazz and arts, what can we expect at your event?
Well, this year we have the second edition of Jazz and Arts, and those who attended last year would attest to the fact that we had an exhilarating experience. This year we have a repeat, but with greater vibes. Jazz and Arts, at Jazz and Arts, we focus on the traditional art forms. The artists will be doing paintings and offering paintings. We're looking at local cuisine as well as pig roast, but this time I'll say piglet roast, so the tender piglet roast. And last year we had a traditional orchestra called Kozika, all women, 16 women. And this year we are bringing you Vukum. Vukum is a famous traditional band as well in Guada, from Guada, who will be joining us this year to really bring that experience. We will be also doing floriculture. You know, floriculture is part of our culture as well. And there'll be floral design by Jimmy Fleurs. And you can expect a lot, and you just have to speak to those who attended last year. So the Waitikobuli Artists Association will be there, and they'll also be visiting artists as well to share on the design, and a number of traditional performances, a mix, and we'll give you the name of the artist. You can expect to see Kimani T, Abia, Kimani T on saxophone, Abia Banakayo, which is a traditional mix string and jingping band, the Pebush drummers, the Pebush cultural group, the Capuchin cultural group. Vukum will be the highlight. It's a really big band. 40 of them will be here. 20 will be on stage and doing other cultural ceremonies in between. So it's really an experience you can't afford to miss. And we invite everybody to be there. And to get in, it's just $25, and you buy everything that the local cuisine, the vendors have to offer in terms of the local cuisine. And I know, Monel, as you said, you're looking towards or forward for that pig roast. Yeah. And this year we expect to have tender. the young one, the piglet roasted for you. Very delicious.
All right, Shelley, have you been to Paradise Valley before?
I am not.
Oh, you need to.
The problem.
That I need to mention. It is all of this fusion of our culture and the arts in Paradise,
Yeah.
in one of the most beautiful settings that you can find. And when we did the last site visit, one person from DDA was her first visit, and she could not stop talking about
Yeah.
this environment. Every Dominican need to go and experience this tranquil and beautiful place.
It is serene. The flowers, there's peacocks, there's space where you can get married, there's a big bell, it's just amazing.
Yeah, I've seen pictures and I don't know why I haven't been, but
So stop looking at photos. Do
yes,
us a
I just
favor.
yeah.
Walk
Let's
in.
go. I'll go tomorrow.
And then Michael Les mentioned earlier that they'll be selling different items from the Waitukubuli Association, and also he mentioned a few other offerings.
Yes,
that'll be
there'll be
happening.
a visitor doing glass design as well.
So in case some persons are now tuning in to Talking Tourism, Michael, can you go over the items that will be sold and the artists who will be performing at that event, please?
Yep, definitely. So we'll be selling paintings, photographs, jewelry, cards, and all of these things will be starting at a very affordable price point, probably from 20 to 30, all the way up to bigger pieces. We're going to have, and I just want to mention, I think something that's really cool about this event is a mix, combining the traditional arts with contemporary arts. So just want to say that we will have some different stations. So there'll be live painting. There'll also be a jewelry making station. So, if you're there with your date, you guys can make jewelry for each other. There'll be a tattoo bar as well.
Aw.
That's sweet.
And then we'll also have two indie artists, Avatar Omish and Marsh Black, performing. We'll also have some members of Waitu Cirque, which is our circus arts group. And then I actually forgot to mention we have a little improv troupe as well who will be making their debut there.
You mentioned a tattoo. Can
Yes.
individuals get a tattoo at that event?
That is exactly what it is. Yes.
Ah.
So it depends if you want just something small or if you want to spend more of your day there getting something really cool. We'll have artists for sure, Lowell Omni Roy, as well as Jody Henderson tattooing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so Miss Paul, we can look
Yes,
forward
sir.
to seeing you on the tattoo table. Getting a love heart.
That's it.
Hashtag I love Jesus.
A little Cicero.
Oh, that would have to think about. That's something about my skin. I don't like things to touch it, but
Maybe towards
I
the
will
end
encourage. Yes,
towards the end of the night after
Okay.
drinks have been flowing.
maybe. But I encourage others who are looking forward to that. So it will be artists on glass, artists on the skin. That's the tattoo. Artists on canvas. So it's all inclusive, and as he said, it's a mix of the arts, the traditional arts, the art forms, and the contemporary. And actually, this is the intention, that while we appreciate the contemporary, we need to always remember and safeguard and appreciate the traditional. So
Okay.
that's the real intention. And it's, as we say, in the most wonderful space in Dominica.
Agreed. And just to remind listeners, the price $25 EC for adults and children.
10 children on the 12, I think, $10. Under 16, $10.
So under 16, that's 15, and under only 10 EC dollars, and 16 and above 25 EC dollars will get you into Jazz in Paradise, happening on May 3rd, the day before Jazz and Creole, our biggest event for the Jazz and Creole experience right here in Dominica. So Miss Paul and Mr.
Yes.
Lees, we're gonna pause on Jazz and Arts, and we're gonna go back to
We just want to mention some sponsors already.
Yes.
Coming on board. And as it's a collaborative event, it's a partnership with the Ministry of Tourism playing a leading role, Ministry of Responsible for Culture, of Sports, Youth and Community Development, and Waitukubuli Arts Association, Paradise Valley, the proprietors of Paradise Valley, and the Pebush Cultural Group. So it's a partnership of community, public sector. It's a fusion of partners and the arts and the artists. So it's something nobody should miss, especially those of us on the north and those who I know who will be in the north. We expect a lot of visitors to be spending nights in the north for that weekend. And not only that, but on Friday night, Vukum will be also supporting the event Jazz Under the Stars at Borough Square. They will be doing the finale, which is a liberation sort of parade. Very beautiful with drums and whatever to highlight this event.
Okay, we're going to touch more on that shortly. Somebody's on the telephone. Hi, good morning. Welcome to Talking Tourism. Hello, good morning. I think I lost that caller. Okay, so on the day of the Jazz Under the Stars, there's this big event with Vukum. We're going to touch on that very shortly when we talk about the different fringe activities that we'll be having for the Jazz and Creole experience. I want to go back to Dominica's Jazz and Creole, go back to Shelly. Shelly, one of the artists, his band will be performing for Dominica's Jazz and Creole Festival. And by the way, if you need tickets, we do have a fringe event this week. That is the Jazz and Me happening sometime this week. We'll be selling tickets for only $145 EC, so you can get your tickets at that event. And we will be having a few other fringe activities taking place as well throughout the Jazz and Creole experience. And the Jazz and Me takes place on tomorrow Thursday the 24th, with Mikel Henderson, featuring Mikel Henderson, Rob and Finnis from St. Lucia. And that takes place at the Michael's Courtyard at the Realm from 8 p.m. Tickets only $30 EC, 75 EC. And VIP dinner and show only $80, and that is $200 EC. So lots happening. Get your fringe tickets sorted out. Get your tickets discounted. Outside of the fringe events or tickets, they stand at $160 EC in advance. At the gate, $200. So it's a great idea to save yourself $40 for drinks or for food. So get your tickets early, save some money. So you can head over to Deepex Scholar Lab, Bullseye Pharmacy in Goodwill and in Portsmouth, and also Water's Edge in Portsmouth for your tickets. If you opt for online, then head over to www.dominicafestivals.com. Get your tickets because you want to see Shelly and the Signal Band on stage and the other amazing artists.
Shock
So
them.
guys, shock them. Shock them. Get your tickets early. Shock yourself. Get your tickets early. Save $40. Shock yourself. Yes? So let's talk, Shelly, about you and your amazing band. I know you guys have been performing throughout the Caribbean and further afield. We want to get to know about you, the band, before we talk more about the Jazz and Creole Festival. And then we're going to transition back into the activity happening the day before, i.e., Jazz in Paradise. Let's talk.
Sweet.
What is that experience like traveling throughout the region with your band?
I mean, it's very fulfilling to know that we built up a product that is true to us. You know, that we are true to. That is 100% us. You know, we have been at this since we were teenagers. When Signal Band started, I was 14 years old. God knows I didn't know what I was doing. We didn't know what we were doing, and I'm not the youngest member in the group. So
The youngest is how old?
right now, 27.
Okay.
27, yeah.
I'm not going to
Which
ask
is
for a
not-
name.
Which
But,
is
you
not
know.
bad. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. But yeah, so it's now 15 years later, and in August we'll be celebrating 15 years as a band, and that's a good milestone, especially as childhood friends who started something, and you know we made other friends along the way, and we now have not just a solid friendship brotherhood, but we have a solid business, you know, that we operate. And traveling the Caribbean and the world with these guys has been so amazing. You learn new things about each other and about the music and about music out there together, and that's very important. And you know, for the next couple of weeks we have such a crazy run, like starting this Friday, Heading to St. Thomas, coming back on Monday, then we heading to St. Martin, coming back for jazz. The day after jazz, we leave for Antigua, and we just gonna keep going like that till the summer. So right now it's just about rest, vitamins, let's exercise, everything in the mix. Yeah, man.
So what drives your band? What's the drive? What's the inspiration?
I feel the original inspiration is because this is true to us, and we have built a fan base that we know truly supports us. I think one of the formulas for being a successful artist is find out who your audience is, your market audience, and just keep on giving them what they want.
Marketing 101.
And along the way, you fuse, you infuse, you collaborate, but you have to stay true to you and that base that is your fan base. And that is what keeps us going, is the fact that we have built a solid fan base, and these people, you can never make them hit their band. You can never make them hit their band. And at the end of the day, without the fans, we are nothing. We don't make this music for ourselves. We can sit down in the studio and listen to it and smile, but the real success of this song is really measured by the people receiving it. And when we make songs and we go out and perform and we see the people receiving it, that's really what keeps us going for the next one and the next release and the next performance. Yeah.
Talking about reaction, what is your favorite song to perform live? And why does it resonate with you and the audience?
It's funny that you asked that question, just like how I just say it. Usually people ask me, what's your favorite song of yours? And that's hard to answer because I see the song as children. And I mean, right now it's getting to like hundreds of children, but but it's very fruitful, but it's hard to choose favorites. But when I talk about my favorite, I like to say my favorite song to perform is, and that has been toggling between I'll Be There For You and Stronger.
So which one are you going to sing for us now? You mean you're going to be on stage for Jazz and Creole? Of course, I'll spotlight you for sure.
I have a morning voice there.
Oh, that's perfect. That's okay. We call it Shelly in the morning.
Shelly in the morning. Jazzy in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Stronger means a lot to us, to our fans. And previous question, I spoke of how much the fans fuel us to go and to keep on going. So Stronger, the second verse especially, where I say, we work so hard to build a strong foundation. Why would they think we so easy to break down? Maybe the journey was a slow one. Now we in this for the long run. When life teaching lessons with us sign up. When God giving blessings with us line up. We putting in the work till our time up. So if you know you blessed, put your hands up. Who Jah bless, no man curse. Sometimes the blessing them just look just like a curse. Who Jah bless, no man curse. Things getting better when they thought it would be worse. We getting stronger every day. Yeah, that song does give me some shivers, especially when Nice Bills out and it's trouble. Thank you. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So this is what we're gonna expect from, well, not the morning Shelly, but we're gonna
you're gonna get a nighttime, well-groomed, voice well-warmed, and
so this is what we can expect for this year's Jazz and Creole. And we do have a few of your fans on the live. Someone said you're blessed. Their favorite song is Stronger. Someone also remarked that can't wait to see you come to St. Kitts for Music Festival. Tug them. And somebody also mentioned, how about Crop Over out in Barbados? So people are looking forward to Signal Band and the amazing things that you're doing. And I must say, you make us proud. And when I get to, I love my job, I get to promote Dominica and all things Dominica. Yeah. So part of my conversation is always the Bouyon music. And I often thank the persons throughout the region and further afield for embracing our Bouyon music, because I know it took a while for us to get there, and we're here now, and we have to be thankful to the people who love us and show support to our artists. So we're thanking all the foreigners, all the visitors. Thank you very much for embracing Dominica's Bouyon music. Our guys, they continue to work very hard to improve their product for you and for us here in Dominica. So thank you for the support, and let us keep it going. So Shelly, you're going to be on the main stage, Jazz and Creole. This is not your first rodeo at Jazz and Creole. You performed 2 years ago. What was that experience like, and what can we expect at this year's Jazz and Creole on May 4th?
Well, last year was electric. You know, last year was. I feel like the fans, the patrons, even the
Wait,
people.
it's electric. Boogie woogie.
Boogie
Sorry.
woogie.
Let's go back to you.
You know, it's electric, shock them. You see, yeah. So honestly, the people didn't know what to expect, and we also didn't know what was expected of us. And we like those challenges. We were like, why people probably expecting us to be not just come with a bunch of acoustic instruments and just play all our songs unplugged.
Always
you
some
know,
jazz, you know.
Maybe infuse some jazz. Like people were really curious, you know, and there were some people that were saying, I don't know what a Booyah band doing there. So all of that was adding to the nice country. We like that kind of chaos, you know. So we like that kind of chaos, yeah, man. It's really like let's use that to fuel a great repertoire, and we put in a great repertoire. Nothing was winged at Jazz and Creole. We came in and we knew its song, its transition, and we just fed from the crowd's energy. And you know, we went up. We took it down a notch as well. There was one point. We I don't want to say we jazzed it up, but we probably jazzed it up.
Yeah, you jazzed
yeah,
it
you
up.
jazzed
I
it
recall,
up.
I
You know,
recall.
but we broke it down, and our drummer went on congas, and you know, we had some percussions, and we sat
Nice.
down. Stasha was there, and we sat on stools, and we delivered some of the songs.
I recall.
Yes.
I was looking at some footage.
You know, and that was really great and well received too. And you know, we changing the mood of the performance is one of my favorite things to do. It's like interesting to see how you can control the audience. You know, it's really about crowd control. You get them to go down a bit and tell them, I like to say, take a pause from the CO, take a pause from the rum, and listen to the music, listen to art. Because especially when Booyah music is consumed, a lot of people miss the art. You know, and especially because Booyah has changed, you know, it has evolved less about the art, you know, and it's more about the instant
The rhythm.
gratification, right? You know,
Yeah.
right, let's go. So it's always interesting to get people to pause a little and appreciate the art of the music. And I can say that is what this year will be about, you know, especially after having such a hype carnival. People see us on the road, and right now we have to
Expectations are high.
Yeah,
you know, you
expectations
cannot drop
high.
the ball. You
You know, we can't
the
jump
ball.
the ball, and really and truly, some people gonna be coming because they want to keep that energy high from carnival. Some people come in expecting a little breakdown. Some people come in saying whatever signal gives to me, I'll take it. So we have all those people there to satisfy, you know, and that's an interesting challenge that we have taken on, and we think we're gonna make everybody happy at Jazz and Creole.
But you mentioned something earlier about understanding your audience. It's
Right.
critical as a band or as a performer to first understand your target, your market.
Yeah.
Who is going to be attending that event? What do they like?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
are their expectations? How can I, as an artist, meet that expectation or exceed that expectation? That is critical.
And one of
So
the main
I
questions too
appreciate that.
is who am I? You know, who am I? You don't want to just change yourself to deliver to an audience too. You still want to give them your true, authentic self.
True.
And that's always the interesting part of the job. You know, that it's always going to be the interesting part of the job.
All right, so what is the feedback like from your band members about performing at Jazz? Are they nervous, you know? Are they trying to figure out what new instrument can we buy before Jazz and learn it so we can shock them? What's going on?
It's a week away. About 2 weeks away. So about 2 weeks away, we're buying any instruments. But we rehearsing hard. You know, last night, interestingly, we had a very hectic weekend. You know, we performed about 4 times for the weekend, and we have rehearsals Tuesday morning. So yesterday morning, almost everybody overslept, and we got to the band house about 2 hours later than we scheduled, and then we just figured, you know what, guys, let's just reschedule this rehearsal for tonight, which was last night, and but the rehearsal was centered around Jazz and Creole. So we spent about 3.5 hours in the band house just practicing for Jazz and Creole, and went home last night about 11:30, 12 midnight. We were done, you know, and it was just jazz and not jazz and Creole. You know, it was just jazz and
Okay.
Creole. You know, the signal way, and we ran through the set, and the band members excited because we think we have a truly solid performance lined up for the patrons. So we're just looking forward to the delivery and some people ask why we practice so hard. It's your songs, you know it already. But no, because we come in unexpected. You have to feel like it's not even a signal song you're in there.
Shock them.
Shock them.
That's
yeah.
my word for the day.
Yeah,
Everywhere
that's-
I walk, I'm going to
That-
say, shock them.
That's how you shock them at the
Yeah.
practice. Yeah.
That's it. Okay, so you mentioned that you were practicing some songs and, you know, preparing for Jazz and Creole. So what new elements or songs are you planning to bring to this year's Jazz and Creole Festival?
Well, I wouldn't give my repertoire out for sure.
Are we going to get the calendar rhythm? I know DDA, DFC is accidentally on the calendar rhythm of last year, you know.
I think DFC might end up being a staple on that.
Shock us.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we'll drop the calendar rhythm at Jazz, you know. Yeah, maybe it depends. Time permitting.
So, so what can we expect? That's at least one song that we can expect from you for this year's Jazz and Creole experience.
A song that probably we do expect to hear.
And just sing a line for me.
I was in a little hole in the country. What? I forgot this song. Sexy ladies whining on the dance floor. I hooked on one. She looked a little mix. Or maybe my eyes was playing tricks.
I like that one.
She must be Spanish, so I start to practice. Hola, señorita, bienvenida a Dominica. Yeah, so look up for that one. That one will be performed for sure.
I love that one. And then you plugged in the gypsy at the end, like,
yes.
oh, wapat you put
Yes.
in that part.
Yes, so you know the gypsy.
I was
Good
excited.
food, go up on the ping.
Yes, apa wapas sobo hapa pipi you bonopo.
Yeah,
I was so
pan.
oh, you put come I was so excited when I heard this at the end. I was like, yeah. Then we got some gypsy involved. I appreciate that very much, and we look forward to hearing that rendition from a Signal band. Yeah. And we're very appreciative to you and your band for continuously putting out new material.
Yep.
This is something new, so there's always something fresh coming out from Signal band that we can expect to experience at one of your events. So kudos to you and your team for the hard work.
Amen. Thanks.
Now, for listeners who haven't seen you live or who are not sure, not convinced that they should attend Dominica's Jazz and Creole Festival, what do you say?
Well, I say that first of all, you have been missing out if you haven't seen Shelly and Signal Band live. You have been missing out. First of all, I want them to connect to the music, if it's possible beforehand. But if it's not possible, take a chance. You know, we take a chance on the lottery and all of these things, and sometimes
take a chance on
me. And really and truly, I think the stakes are higher by coming to Jazz than winning the lottery. So let's take a chance and come and enjoy. Not even, and this is not just about Shelly and Signal Band. We only make up a little fraction of the show. The show, Jazz and Creole, is much bigger than us, and so we want to encourage, you know, the patrons to come out to this show, because it's always a spectacular show. Everybody brings their A game. I think this is one of these shows that one of the events in Dominica that captures and touches all the senses of the people. It looks good, it sounds good, it feels good, it smells good, it tastes good, you know. So that is I feel like that's one of the events that captures all of that. And you know, we're looking forward to see the outfits. You know, by about 4 p.m. people have to start posting them things.
So we start at 2, so you post before you leave the house.
Post before you leave the
house.
house.
This is me when I'm fresh.
Yeah, man. Because some of the diasporans, when about 2 hours pass, they say, well, people don't go Jazz, man. You know, they want to see how people looking at.
And then you touched on the experience I'll just mention quickly or elaborate quickly. So the Jazz and Creole is, for those of you who are not certain, this is not a jazz festival. Remember, this is a Jazz in Creole event where we jazz up Creole. So we infuse some jazz component in a Creole festival. So that's why you will see our Creole music, our bouillon bands, all things Dominican. You will see Creole music from the other countries, or Creole cultures from the other countries, converging on our stage for Dominica's Jazz in Creole experience. So it's not a jazz event. Boutique Dominique is something to look forward to. You can shop local, get all your goodies in Dominica. If you're looking forward to being part of Miss Dominica 2026, you can sign up for the pageant right there in Jazz and Creole this year. Remember, the dress code is Creole Sunset Chic. Think Dominica's sunset, all the colors of the sunset. And do me a favor, if you cannot or do not want to dress in the theme, still come. Dress comfortably. It's a fun event. You know, there's a section for your kids. You can have your children in their zone throughout the entire experience while you move around. Police will be there to ensure that your kids and you are safe as well. We also have volunteers in the kids zone to ensure that they are safe within that space. I want to thank the police for their continued support. The fire and ambulance will be there. Red Cross is there. We have over 10 vendors in the food court area, multiple drink vendors for you. VIP is going to be a blast, and that is only $350 EC dollars. You can get your tickets at the Discover Dominica Authority's office on Great Marlborough Street or online www.dominicafestivals.com. This is a fashion event. It's one of the most beautiful events in Dominica. You take it slow, it jazz, and the experience is anything you want it to be. You can come with your sheet to lie on the grass lower down somewhere, bring your seats. It's just a fun space where you can have a great time. And there's some people who never see the stage.
True.
They might hear Signal performing, but they'll never see your face on that stage.
But they are
still enjoying the event.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so come to Jazz and Creole on May 4th for a great experience. Shelly is going to be there performing. He and his band, the Signal Band, they have been making hits after hits after hits, and I know that the performance is going to be phenomenal, magnetic, electrifying. Electric. He's going to shock us. That's it. So you can definitely look forward to that. And also the other artists, just to remind you, on the main stage we also have Swinging Stars, Colton T, Abia, Israel, Mari Pascal, Shalina, Colin XP, a Dominican artist who lives in New York. She'll be here next week and she'll be on Talking Tourism. Marie Claire Giraud will be with us, Etienne Charles from Trinidad and Tobago, and Itana out of Jamaica, and lots of other artists. There's a saxophonist who will also be part of the performance or on the lineup for this year's Jazz and Creole. So it is going to be a very, very great event this year. You don't want to miss it. And just before Jazz and Creole, you have to come to Born for Jazz in Paradise. Beautiful scenic space where you can jazz things up to prepare you for the Jazz and Creole Festival on May 4th. Briefly, Miss Roseanne Paul, can you just tell us in 2 minutes, encourage the listeners to attend Jazz and Arts in Paradise?
Yes. Everyone, there's going to be something for you. Jazz and Arts in Paradise really reflects the spirit, our Creole culture, all of who we are, our food, drink, floriculture, and the traditional art forms, everything, traditional band. It is something, it's a real family event. So most enjoyable for you. So we really urge you to come, and it's at a very affordable price.
Yes.
Just $25 and $10. So it's a gift. It's a gift that you should not miss at all. So we look forward to you being there, enjoying yourself, enjoying all that we have to offer in the most serene, beautiful setting.
I concur.
And we want to already thank a number of our sponsors, Atlantic View Resort, the Prime Minister of Dominica, Paradise Valley Proprietors, HHV with Church, and others who are coming forward. Performers, the performing artists too. With Abia will also be there. Ophelia Olivache. And as I said, one that you cannot miss. Anytime Vukum plays in Guadeloupe, it's a great following. So come and experience all of what we have to offer.
And if you want to see some of Vukum before you come to the Jazz and Arts in Paradise, then you gotta head over to the Jazz Under the Moonlight in Portsmouth, Jazz Under the Stars in Portsmouth, and that's the Friday before Jazz and Creole. That is May 2nd. So May 2nd, we're at the Borough Square. You're going to see Vukum, a 40-member band, in full display on the streets of Portsmouth. That will be very exciting. Michael, 2 minutes. What's your final words? Or rather, 30 seconds.
I just wanted to say two things real quick. One, with the Bouya music, I think it's really interesting that I think Shelly and the other Dominican Bouya pioneers have promoted it so well that you now have artists in other countries claiming to have created Bouya music. So you know you're doing well when
Yes.
you're at that point. I think we already kind of touched on everything that we will have at Jazz and Arts in Paradise. I do also want to say that on May 31st, our sister organization, Y2 Cirque, is also going to be having a strictly circus arts performance at Cappy Cottages. Tickets are available on the Instagram, Y2 Cirque, or at Aura Arani across from Dons and Divas. So it's really seeming like the month is rounding out with artistic events, which is fantastic.
Thank you. And Shelley, final words, 30 seconds.
Yeah, for sure. You know, we just want to encourage everyone to come out to Jazz and Creole on May 4th. We also want to encourage them to support all the fringe events. And, you know, big up to all the Shelly and Signal fans worldwide. You know, thanks for the support. Big up to the organizers of Jazz and Creole and you know, the entire DFC DDA crew. And big up Bouillon Music, you know, to the world. Shock them.
And thank you very much for that means we need some help, some therapy for the shocks. But thank you very much for that. And guys, we look forward. Thank you very much for joining me here this morning on Talking Tourism. We really appreciate you. More on Jazz and Arts in Paradise and on Jazz and Creole Festival are at our press conference tomorrow from 10 a.m. Discover Dominica Authority's office will be live on DBS Radio at Dominica Festivals and the Ministry of Tourism Facebook page as well. It has been my pleasure to be with you for yet another Talking Tourism right here on DBS Radio. If you're visiting Dominica for the first time, welcome to the Nature Island. And while you're here, remember to respect yourself, respect our environment, and respect our people. And do ensure that you have a great time. Until next week, Wednesday, my name is Monel Alexis. Do take care.